Welcome to the metaphor of illness, meaning of dis-ease. I'm Ofer Zur, a psychologist, a critical thinker, teacher, forensic expert, and most importantly, anthropologically critical thinker, as well as world traveler on motorcycles and other interesting, exciting vehicles. So today we're going to talk about the metaphor of illness or meaning of dis-ease. That's our figure of speech that draws comparison between experience of being sick, ill, or injured to convey a deeper understanding of what is it like to be sick, unwell, or hurt. For example, I lost my calf in the 73 war. And the moment I lost my calf, I told myself I shouldn't have gone to war. So it was a metaphor, it was a perfect metaphor about injury and my psychological, spiritual, political stance that manifests itself by me shouldn't have gone to war. Before I share more personal examples, I'll have some more common universal examples of metaphor of illness that hopefully almost all of you can relate to. So we have a term of battling a storm, describes a struggle that comes with dealing with severe illness. For example, she's been battling a storm of health issue for years. Another example would be a term roadblock to recovery. This represents an obstacle of hindrance in the process of getting better. Example, his addiction was a roadblock to his recovery. Something somewhat personal, on my mother's grave, we wrote what she told us: trees die erect. So what she meant by that death is not a failure and staying in life by all means is not really the goal of life. So trees die erect is just another clear metaphor that trees don't just take 20 years to go down, they die erect. The empty nest syndrome is another example that we all use a term. I personally got severely depressed when our youngest child left to college. So it was a different kind of feel of being in the house when he went to college and there was an empty nest. Another term that we all, or many of us, have used is the silver invader. It depicts an illness that creeps in without warning or symptoms. For example, the statement will be, cancer can sometimes be a silent inventor, lurking undetected until it's too late and the person dies. Another kind of terms that we use for the metaphor of illness is a thief of joy. It suggests that illness can rob a person from happiness or well-being. One more will be a puzzle to resolve. It portrays the diagnostic process, identifying and understanding an illness. For example, the doctors are still trying to solve the puzzle of his mysterious symptoms. Another term that we use metaphorically about illness is weight on one's chest. It conveys the feeling of pressure or difficulty in breathing associated with certain illness. So let's kind of move forward here. And what my attempt is helping individual to communicate emotional, physical impact of illness. It may make it easier to convey the complex experience of being unwell or being cared for. So following our example of metaphor of illness from my own personal experience and the meaning I attach to all of them. The hope is that you will use this example, you take it personally and try to make sense of your own dis-eases. I also hope that you'll share it with your family and friends, whoever may benefit from this process. In my book, everybody probably can. So the first one, I had a heart attack, and it broke my heart. In this case, my heart was broken because something very sad and traumatic happened with one of my children. So I got a heart attack because my heart was broken. So, in some regard, it was a physiological event, and I went up and got two stents and all this stuff. But what's really important for this presentation, that it was not only a medical event, it was a spiritual, emotional, evolutionary event about my heart being broken, about what happened to one of my children, who turned to be ultimately okay. The second one, I lost my hearing in the war. So in the middle of battle, just before I was wounded, I lost my hearing. And what I told myself, actually, right there and then, I was 23, and this is the 1973 Israeli war, that I did not listen to the truth about shouldn't be participating in an unjust, easily prevented war. So I lost my hearing, and I told myself, you should have listened. So again, it was real that I lost my hearing, but also there was a very strong psychological, metaphorical, existential, spiritual component to that. Next one, example of my life that I hope you'll be able to relate to some of them. This would be a hard one to relate. I was set on fire by a soldier who mistakenly launched phosphorus grenade. I was age 10. And it was an early experience in my life that motivated me to embrace life in its fullness, because I couldn't take it for granted. Because who knows, this was a celebration, a Halloween celebration in Tel Aviv. Somebody made a mistake, and I looked like this girl in Vietnam who were running naked. I was like her. And it took a long time to stop me being completely on fire. So, but the paradox is also that when we are supported and feel safe, we can take the heat and survive this enormous fire. So I talk about all my medical complexity and life-threatening situation, and understand what is the psychological, spiritual, metaphoric elements of all of them. Next one, I got a cardiac arrest. I was flatline for 92 seconds. And when I tried to look at the meaning of this experience, because I didn't see God, I didn't see the thing from above, I felt like it was a wasted experience. And I realized that my lesson was, for me, I wasn't there spiritually yet. So I kind of connected it. I have to increase my practice, my meditation practice, and other practices, because I wasted my cardiac arrest and didn't see God. I know it sounds a little bit silly, but this is how I'm presented. I got hysterically blind one time in a country, in a foreign country, and I lost my eyesight for 3 days. I just walked into barbed wires and walked into fencing, and I lost my sight. And it was easy. I heard at night the torture in the next building, and I could not face my upcoming unavoidable torment and death. So metaphorically, I didn't see and accepted the obvious, that I should not have been there. I didn't listen to all the advice I got. Don't go to this country. It's not, as an Israeli, as a lieutenant in a paratrooper. Just don't go there. And I wanted to see certain aspect of this country, and I paid the price. So I took responsibility for my blindness. It was actual medical blindness, that I didn't see anything, but this hysterically blind was very clear. I was afraid of being tortured and killed. So I blanked off. I had a knee replacement, two of them, and I was brought down, quote, to my knees. So knee replacement brought down to my knees. Spent months and weeks on crutches, and felt ineffective kind of in going around and saving the world. And it reminded me that I have made very valuable gifts and can focus on intellectual and spiritual pursuit rather than my physical body and my adventures and lecturing all around the world. So again, I got two knee replacements, and that kind of brought me down, but brought me also to look at what's the message. One more, I got malaria in East Africa, and I couldn't see well for a whole year. And the meaning for me with this mosquito, malaria mosquito there in the picture, is that I was out of balance with nature and life. And I didn't see for a year because I didn't see what was in front of me, physically, intellectually, or spiritually. So I took the kind of the disturbed sleep and the terrible malaria as what I'm being told by the universe, what I'm being told by the spirits, what I'm being told by God, whatever kind of would speak to you. And the last one for my personal experience that I was beaten by piranha earlier this year, 2023. At 73, oh my God, here's the picture. This is a real picture of my finger in the piranha's mouth. At 73, I was searching for ways to engage with danger through the encounter with the piranha. The lesson and challenges were encountering fears head on one more time. And the other thing is questioning authority and what the common wisdom. Sometimes I get irritated with dogma. So I wanted to put my finger in a piranha's mouth as a way kind of to test. What is this thing about? It was so interesting. You can read on my website the whole experience about putting my finger in a piranha's mouth and how exciting it was. Actually, I didn't feel the pain, but it was incredible experience also for the local people in Brazil on the Amazon. So this is kind of my stories. There was one surgeon I saw as a client, and he got into a bicycle accident and both his hands were injured, and we start working on what is the meaning of him losing functionality as a surgeon of both hands. And then he said, after 3 or 4 weeks, he said, "Doctor, I always wanted to be a singer. I never wanted to be a doctor, a surgeon like my father, but I was pressed into medical school and I did well. But what I wanted now, I feel free to be a singer." It's like, what a revelation for him at age 50 something. So the invitation for you right now is make your own personal list of your illnesses, diseases, articulate or guess what each disease invites you to do or not to do, or to feel or not to feel, or to look at different. What's the message of each and every illness or accident or any kind of bodily harm, bodily difficulty? And feel free to post samples from your life experiences in the comment section in this YouTube. And of course, feel free to share it with friends, colleagues, spouses, children, and keep the question, hopefully for the rest of your life. What am I being told when I have a certain illness? What's a metaphor of my dis-ease? Thank you.